Hello and welcome to another episode. Today I am sharing the last installment of my conversation with Zach Garcia. In this episode we talk about things like feeling worthy as a performer and what constitutes passion, how acting as a career is a long game and how important balance is. We also talk about how Zach and his wife are about to have a baby in this episode, and I'm happy to announce that they have had their baby. He is a lovely little boy. If you follow Zach on Instagram, you can definitely see pictures of him. Also, Zach is in a show currently at Park Square Theater. It's called Jefferson Township Sparkling Junior Talent Pageant. It's playing now through July 28th, so you should definitely go check it out. It's been getting a lot of great reviews. I'm hoping to go in a few weeks. So enjoy this episode.
Yeah, you do get to that certain point where everyone is so good.
Yeah.
And I have been realizing lately too, I lost my train of thought. What was I going
Girl,
to
it's fine. You'll get it back.
I'm
Himalayan
I
plants.
know.
Oh,
I love
you have that Himalayan salt lamp?
Yeah, I love that.
I have those too.
Yeah. Oh, here. This is what I was gonna say. I feel like there's this like old romantic like part of me, like my high school self or whatever. That's like that. Like it's like if I feel okay moving on, that it's like I'll like that. That doesn't show my passion, you know what I mean? And it's like I need to like let that like romantic little girl who like watched too many movies or something I need to like not do that, because like I've gotten a lot of rejections lately and like life goes on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's this part of me that's like, oh my God, how like I overthink everything clearly, but there's this part of me that's like, oh my God, like if I'm okay with this happening, it's just gonna keep happening, and I'm not gonna work anymore. That kind of thing of like, if I move on with my life and think this is okay, like I'm not passionate, or I'm not like I'm not worthy of being like cast in anything. Like I should be, throwing myself against a wall and like all this stuff, but it's like I watched too many movies when I was a kid, and I'm like, that's like so like a romanticized version of like what an actor is, and like letting it go is like what you need to do.
And to expand on that creates longevity too in your career, because you get to a certain age, and I know like my friends who are now like 30 or a little over 30, a lot of them are like, I'm tired and I can't do it. And so it's like this career is a long game.
Yeah.
It's a long game. It's so
funny you say that. My mom literally said that on the phone to me.
Oh, really?
Earlier today.
Yeah.
She was like, you might be at, like, so she's a marathoner. So she's like, she's always like, it's not a sprint, it's a long game. She's like, you might be at mile 13, and mile 13 might be really hard, and mile 14 might be really hard too. But you never know. Once you get to mile 16, you might hit your second wave. And it's that idea that it's a long game.
It is, and the thing that you can't do is just not do it anymore. I feel like, and that's the hardest thing I think about being in this life, is that it's so easy to not do it. Like you can wake up and be like, I'm not gonna do that today. Like I'm not gonna go.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna cancel this. Or it's so easy to not do it. And there's really no consequence, right? It's like, okay, you don't do it. Okay, then you don't do the show. And then you can go like do this other thing, right? And that's fine. Like I just know that, like, I will, when I get to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm good. Like, I've done everything I want to do. Then I'll walk away. But I just don't feel that.
No, like, I don't feel that either.
And I like, we're still like fairly young, but like, I also know that like, again, another thing that I've found is like, balance is a really good thing. Like you need, so like when I'm done with that callback that I've worked incessantly for like 2 or 3 days to get ready for it, I'm done. I'm gonna go and like have a drink with a friend, or like I'm gonna go and like go for a run, or like I'm gonna go on a hike, something that doesn't necessarily involve theater.
And I think that that's something that made me feel like a bad music student.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Where I was like,
this music school mentality of like,
Yeah.
you are always working on your music, and if you're not a good musician. It's
Right.
like,
yeah.
that has
Yeah.
carried over into so many facets of my life.
Yeah.
And it's hard to still to be able to go to a callback, throw it away, walk away,
and then
get a
like-
drink with a friend, not talk about any like theater, anything, and still feel like you're a worthy performer.
And that you're and like a worthy person.
Yeah.
Just like
just a person. We're all people.
Yeah, and I've come to appreciate like I love my actor friends. Like but they play a very specific part in my life. But I've also come to appreciate my friends who are just in my corner because they like who I am.
Yeah.
Like who like know me and support me no matter. They don't give a shit if I like ace or bomb a callback. They're just like, hey, you're a good person, and we're here for it. Like, you know, my family too.
Yep.
Like my family's the same way, where they're like, you know, I'm just so grateful that I have like the people in my corner that I do, even though sometimes I feel like I'm too busy. I know that they're always there, and that I think is. I'm really lucky in that way, like, and I know not everybody has that, and that's really painful, and that's really, but I know that for me, that's one thing that's made me be okay with like getting rejected sometimes, is that I know at the end of the day, I'm gonna have my partner that I'll come home to, my wife that I'll come home to, and soon, like, I'll have like my little baby, right, that I come home to, that will be my world, and I never thought I would be at that place, like, because I mean, again, like in school, you're told like this is your life, and
your life, and
you can't have the things like a normal person has. And I just refuse to accept that.
I know.
Like, I just refuse to accept. I'm like, that's like having like a long-term partner and like having a family is something like that I've always wanted. And my partner and Jessica's always wanted.
So why can't I have both?
Yeah.
Why is
and
that?
even
like
if
not...
it means like not, even if it means
sacrificing,
so it's just like, because we sacrifice a lot of time, a lot of mental, emotional energy to do what we have to do, a lot of late nights, a lot of weekends, a lot of just time in general. Finance, I mean, you sacrifice so much. And then I think in some ways, like, you need the scale to tip the other way in a little bit, just to make you feel whole again. And just to make you feel, I mean, I get a lot of joy from doing what I do, but at the same time, there's parts that you just have to reserve for yourself. Yeah. And that doesn't involve that part of your life. Right. Because at the end of the day, yes, it's a kind of an all-consuming, kind of selfish way of life, but you also need the other parts of your life in order to be a more well-rounded performer. Right. You need to have life experiences that doesn't involve theater in order to bring that to the stage. Because people aren't going to see actors, they're coming to see people. Yeah. Right? And it's like you need those experiences, and you need those people to remind you that you have more life outside of this.
And I think that's like really, that's a good thing to say, because I sometimes, I get worried about telling, not my parents so much, but like my friends who are in theater or not in theater. I get worried about telling all of them sometimes that I've been rejected from something. Yeah. Because I still have like, this. Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. And it's just like, I still have this like mentality sometimes that like their value of me is in like what I think of my value in myself, as in like,
because you're the actor friend.
Yes, because it's like, you know, I'm at the salon or whatever, and people are like, have you done a show at Chan? And like, have you like, oh, so you do stuff with like the Guthrie and stuff like that? And like, I'm fine with who I am as a performer. I'm fine with not having worked for those companies. I'm fine. Like, I'm fine with all this stuff until those people ask me, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what is my value? And it's like, who cares what all these other people think, especially like when they're not the people that are in my corner. My friends don't care where I get rejected, where I get accepted. They care about me as a human, not me as a performer. And it's like, you know, I need to, you know, what you said was really great.
Yeah.
What you said was really great.
I try really hard to practice what I preach. And
it's hard. I get it.
It is hard, and again, it drives my parents nuts. Drives where I'm just like, I'm just gonna quit. She's just like, you do this every time you're in rehearsal. Even with our rehearsal, like I would go home and like there was one day where I went home and like I could not. For some reason, like I had worked on it and I couldn't come in and like execute what I had practiced. And I just went home and cried. I was talking with Daniel about this, who's great, by the way. But you know, like that sentiment doesn't go away though. Like I feel, and I hate that it's like part of like my process, and I'm just like, is there a way to do it without that part? I feel like I would just be happier if I didn't have the "you're the worst, what are you doing?"
Yeah, it's like
it eventually climbs out every time to where it is joyful, but I'm like, I don't know.
How can I avoid this?
Have you seen that thing on? I think it was on Facebook, but it was like the chart of like, just like I'm really excited. Oh, this is hard. Oh, this sucks. I suck. Okay, this doesn't suck as much, and like it eventually like goes back up.
Oh my god, I've never seen that.
Oh, it's so good, and it's so true. And it was like all actors that like shared it, and I was like, yes, this is exactly how I feel.
Yes,
it's exactly how I feel, and it's but like. And like I forget every time.
Oh yeah, me too. And then
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I talk to my parents and they're like, "You do this every time." And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't do this every time.
I know. I talk to Jess too, and she's just like, you're in this part. You're in this part now.
Don't you say this every time?
Yeah,
no, I don't.
Yeah. I'm just like, but it's different. She's like, it's not.
It's not different. This is what you do every single time.
Man, our partners though. Can we give it up one time for our partners?
Literally.
One
they
time
deal
for partners.
with so much.
Yeah. And my wife is amazing. Like, but she understands theater, but isn't an actor.
Yeah.
Which I feel is like.
That's a good.
You want happiness. She's like clear, like cool-headed, and when I'm like, and she's just like, you're fine. You're great. I love you, no matter what.
Exactly.
Like, and again, it's like, no matter how many times like people tell you that, it's like, I don't know. It's hard, I think, for us to accept like we want like accolades and we want compliments and we want to feel heard and we want to feel like we're good. And then when people actually tell us that, then we're just like, no.
Nuh-uh. You're lying.
Right, and
you're just saying that.
And again, our partners are amazing because they just continue to do that regardless of how we're feeling in that moment. And
all of this place needs is a dog. If
I
had a dog that would come and greet me and love me no matter what happens.
Do they allow dogs here?
Not here. Okay, any parting words?
My biggest thing is like, it's okay to change paths. It's okay. Like give yourself permission to change paths and know that everything is temporary. You know, the success that you're having is temporary. The rejection that you're having is temporary.
I love that.
If you think you're on like a vocal performance track and that changes because you learn something or you get inspired by something else or you just have the knowledge that like, okay, this isn't what I want to do, that's a win. Like that's a victory because you're learning like what you don't like to do, and eventually it's just leading you towards what you do want to do. So it's okay to change paths. Like and
I love that.
I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned so far is that it's okay if you're like on a certain path and that path changes for whatever reason.
That's why I started this.
Yeah, I think this is great.
Full circle.
I think this is great.